Well, in my investigation of the Bob Lazar, let me see if I can find my copy of the W-2 here, so that because I can't see too well what's up on the board. All right. First thing I did was check with the Postal Service regarding the address there, United States Department of Naval Intelligence, Washington, D.C., 20038. They were unable to identify the zip code at Postal Service. So I asked them, well, what happens if you get a piece of mail with that on, with that address and so forth on there? He says, well, typically it would be put in the box for the Justice Department, and then it would be routed to the appropriate intelligence agency. So I contacted Naval Intelligence, and they immediately identified the zip code as belonging to them, and they gave me an address in which to write to help evaluate the W-2. Basically, we were using a story that Bob was concerned about the accuracy, since he had received the W-2 rather late, and wanted to find out for exactly what period this particular W-2 covered for his tax purposes. So they were willing to work with us. In addition to that, I just learned yesterday from Gene Huff that John Andrews, head of Tester, who makes the plastic toys and models, who was trying to make some models of the Bob Lazar discs out at the test site, had corresponded using the address Naval Intelligence, NCOIC, Washington, D.C. 20038, and carried on a correspondence using that address. So Bill Moore is absolutely wrong in that, indicating that zip code is not valid. The next thing I did was contact the Internal Revenue Service. They directed me to the field office in Aberdeen, South Dakota, as a result of the first two digits where it says employer identification number 46 dash. The 46 ends up at Aberdeen, South Dakota. The results of that investigation, and I have it on tape, they said the W-2 is legit, and that's the term they used, legit. They also indicated, since we were trying to identify who the employer was by virtue of the employer identification number, that part of the investigation took us to Ogden, Utah, where all of the, that's the central office where all employer identification numbers are assigned. They indicated there that the employer identification number was not assigned by the Ogden Center, but was assigned by an intelligence agency, unidentified and classified. In other words, the W-2 is classified. They couldn't give us any more information on that. If you look up in the upper right-hand corner, where it says E-67222MAJ, I was able to find through the Department of Energy that is a contract number, a Department of Energy contract number, which is what the E stands for. The 6722 represents a 6700 series contracts out of Kirtland Air Force Base. That's where the administrative office is. And MAJ represents the point of contact. On the Social Security number, I checked, conducted an investigation with the Social Security Administration in Baltimore, Maryland. With, I might add, Bob Lazar assisted in this by sending notarized statements to IRS, permitting them to release directly to me, not through him, results of the investigation. Same with Social Security. And the Social Security office found that there were no entries since 1983 on that Social Security account number. So Bob asked me to go back and check to see if they had entries for 1982 and 83, since he knew that the company that hired him to work at Los Alamos, a company named Kirkmeyer, and he still knew the amounts of money that would have been applied to the Social Security account number in 1982 and 1983. So we checked that. Sure enough, those amounts of money were in fact on his Social Security account number for 82 and 83. So I asked the Social Security office if they could identify the employer who paid those funds to Bob's Social Security account number in 82 and 83. So they had to go to a different computer system that tracks those numbers. And when they came back, they said, well, the first time we tried it, we got a security violation notice. So we tried it again, and we got a second security violation notice. I even gave them the name Kirkmeyer to look for. And before they went to a third attempt, the supervisor intervened and said, we can't do that. If we get a third security violation notice, the whole system breaks down, and they end up having to do a whole lot of paperwork. So they suggested that Bob go to his local field office here in Las Vegas and try to get the information pulled up on the computer from here. To my knowledge, that has not been followed up on, and the explanation was that Bob filed a formal request in writing for that information, and the results of that have yet to come in. But clearly the IRS claimed that this W-2 was legit, so any question regarding the issue of this particular document being bogus is pure hogwash. In other words, Bob Lazar definitely worked for the U.S. Department of Naval Intelligence in that time period, and that's the amount of money that he received for his trips up to the test site for that first period. Now, he continued working into the next year, as you know. That covered, I think, what was it, just a couple of trips to the test site in December of '88, I believe. And then he went I think five times in '89 up through March. And he did not get a W-2 for the rest of that. In other words, they didn't send him a W-2. He's not yet received one for that period of time, and now we're coming up into 1992 for the 1991 tax year.